Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. The theme this episode is basically just Am I the Asshole stories, but it's more so like Am I the Asshole relationship problem stories, relationship issues. Honestly, when is there not fucking relationship issues in a damn I'm probably swearing too much for the first minute of this episode. Um, but when is there not relationship issues in Reddit stories? Because come on, that's like the literal main theme. It's kind of crazy. Get your drinks. I have my coffee. I am having a little cup of coffee today. Just a little cup. It's regular coffee, so it's not espresso. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means more caffeine or less caffeine, honestly, but I feel like espresso has more caffeine in it. So comment what you're drinking, let me know, and let's get into the episode. Okay, the title of the first story is Am I the asshole for grossly humiliating my boyfriend in front of his whole family after he engagement pranked me? My female 40, now ex boyfriend, Keith, male 38, and I had problems because of his constant pranks. He has a thing for making targets look ridiculous. I warned him many times that I'm not a forgiving person and that he was undermining my trust. He laughed it off, and I kept giving him chances because he has redeeming qualities. He's funny without pranks, acting like a good listener, and generally showed me deference. However, these traits began to fade away, and I don't know why. It kind of just shifted. I don't know if showing him love made him think that he could do this. We never had fights, although we had disagreements, and I tended to clam up if I was really hurt. This happened twice. The first time was very out of the blue. We attended a gala hosted by our city council. I'm using the quotes gala because this isn't a huge city and galas are looked forward to but are not the high class, upper class, inaccessible type. He liked the way that they treated us. I was the actual guest and he was my plus one. And he asked me if I could help him get an interview as he wanted to launch a small business and maybe they would be interested. I made no promises but got him a meeting that I attended along with him. On our way back, we stopped at a deli and ran into my ex, with whom I'm cordial. Keith was enraged because I answered my ex's greeting and said that I was too friendly and that it was disrespectful. That lasted for about 10 minutes. We sat at my place to eat our takeout, and he immediately said very inappropriate things about my best friend. I immediately called him out for trying to make me jealous. He laughed at first, but I asked what was funny, so he left and took his food. We talked about it later, but a few days later, I realized that he never properly apologized. Second, he criticized my outfit and said that I looked ridiculous in it. I should have dumped him right there, but chose to put it on the back of my mind because I already had a lot on my plate, career and family wise. I also held out hope that we could go back to the way things used to be. I was never able to shake off that feeling of being hurt, although we seemed to have reached a very stable phase after that. He started with his pranking ways again. First, I caught him trying to hide the birthday cake that I got for my friend. Then, he hit the gas pedal a few times when I was about to get in the car. Last week, we were at his mother's house for his birthday party. Everything felt pretty normal until everyone got really quiet. It was just weird. I looked at him and he immediately took a knee. This was the worst feeling. First of all, we had not reached a stage leading to an engagement. Second, I thought it was likely a prank, but I didn't know how to react. I don't know if he told everyone that he was about to propose and if they were quiet in honest anticipation or if they knew or maybe some of them knew. If he was being honest, I didn't want to say no in front of his family, so I would have probably had to say yes and then say no in private. If it was a prank, then he would have humiliated me in front of over 20 people. So what I did was ask what he was doing, and he said I was seeing him and that I knew. I said no. I didn't know. So he insisted I said all right and asked to see what was in the box and will react accordingly. The fact that he looked off, maybe realizing that he effed up, maybe wanting to double down, but I'll never know, was a huge red flag. He opened the box and he had a beer can tab in it. I told him off right there. I said that he took a knee to give out junk just like he tried to suck up to people to try and get them to sign for his tacky, insignificant LLC so that he could push his trash services that he hardly knows how to do. I also mentioned how he lost his jobs twice and said I fully understand why he couldn't afford a real ring. I asked him if he honestly saw me marrying a man-child. His family were offended. Some of them looked uncomfortable, but some of them acted like I went overboard. He tried to apologize, but I informed him to stick it up his ass and that we were done. Needless to say, it was a shit show. I had no exit plan because I didn't know that I would have to walk out and I didn't have my car. So I had to walk with his cousins following me and to convince me that he didn't mean to hurt me and that it was dangerous to walk home alone. I had to walk about 30 minutes until I found an available Uber. I made a Facebook post explaining why I did what I did and that I couldn't see my future self with a scumbag. His brother's girlfriend and I have a good relationship. I find her to be very honest and reasonable. She reached out to check how I was doing and to let me know that neither her nor her boyfriend had anything to do with it and that I had a right to be mad. But she also said that while she has never gotten along with Keith, this is true, ousting him as a workforce failure in front of his family was too much and that his family were thrown off. I asked what she thought I should do since I'm not going to do anything to make him feel better and that's that. And that if he ever tries to contact me, I will make sure things get even more painful, if that's even how he feels. To be honest, I'm embarrassed. I stood up for myself, but I guess I went overboard and maybe I should have just turned around and walked away. Was I extra for this? I mean, I don't think so. Like, I think that the incessant pranks and acting like a man child is, at some point, if you're antagonizing someone for so long, like how are you going to expect for them to react when they finally like get fed up of your BS? I can't really see how you can expect anything less than someone to get worked up and frustrated and take out their anger on you. And like that's honestly like the least mean thing that she could say. She could have been a lot more mean, and I mean, she was honest. Like, of course, that hurts to hear, especially when it's true. But, like, hey, if not anything else, she was telling the truth, and that is true. Like, unfortunately, she obviously knows what is going on in his, like, work life and his personal life. And, of course, while saying that in front of your family, it's like, that person's gonna be made out to look like a fool. Well, what do you expect? What do you expect? What do you expect from me? Like, you expect me to just be like, of course she could have been the bigger person and been like, I can't believe this. Like, this is so ridiculous after everything I've done, after how I treated you. Like, I'm done. And she could have just walked out after that. But I don't fault her for responding the way that she did at all. I don't. Because that's just so inappropriate. Also, you're 38 years old. Like, why are you acting like an 8-year-old? You're 38, not 8. Remember that. Like, Jesus. Okay, let's read some comments. Why do you feel embarrassed? He wanted to embarrass you in front of his whole family. Who makes a prank with a marriage proposal like this? Yes, only a man-child would do this. Someone responded, seriously, all she did was tell the truth about him. If the truth upsets them that much, maybe they should be looking why he's such a useless F and question if maybe his constant pranks and shit are a sign of bigger maturity problems. 38-year-old man baby and doesn't understand that pranks are only a prank if everyone laughs. Otherwise, it's bullying. Good riddance, I say. He's obviously been lying to his family about his work issues, so hopefully he'll be too busy cleaning that up to bother OP anymore. He played himself and now he's got to deal with the mess. Yep. Best simplest reply right here. He played himself. To paraphrase an old commercial from the 70s, it's his mess, Madge. Let him soak in it. He's not too old to turn this wreck of a personality around. I hope she sees him in 15 years and he's grateful for her forcing him to look hard in the mirror and grow the F up. But obviously she's way better off than him because decency and karma. Honestly, this is my take. Either he's been lying to his family about his work situation or there's a discrepancy and who knows what. Maybe his parents know but his cousins didn't, etc. Proposals aren't jokes, especially public ones at his age. It's embarrassing he thought that was in any way appropriate. I just don't know who would be laughing at that. Like, how would anyone think that was funny? That's what I'm always confused about with, like, the proposal pranks, because this has definitely been, like, I've heard similar stories to this before where, like, their boyfriend proposes as a prank and it's like, haha, so funny. Who is that benefiting? Who is laughing? No one. You're probably not even laughing. Like, oh my God, you think that's so funny? I don't really understand that. Like, how you would ever think that's funny. That's not a prank. That's just, like, dumb. That's so dumb and immature to me, in my opinion. Okay, the next story is titled, Am I the asshole for making my boyfriend's mom cry because of a petty rule? So, me, 20 female, my boyfriend, 24 male, have been together for almost 2 years and live together. His mother is very involved in his life. Some might say overbearing, but I try to be respectful. She's nice, but has this way of like pushing boundaries while acting like she means well. So, the issue. I have a no shoes in the house rule. My boyfriend is cool with it. All my friends do it, no problem. But his mom refuses. She claims it's rude to ask guests to take their shoes off and that it makes her feel disrespected. I've tried explaining that it's just a cleanliness thing, but she won't budge. Last weekend, she came over and, surprise, surprise, walked in with her shoes on. I very politely, I swear, said, "Oh, can you take them off, please?" She kind of huffs and is like, "You're really gonna make me do this?" And I just stood there waiting. She sighs dramatically, takes them off, and spends the whole visit sulking. Then later, I get a text from my boyfriend's dad saying I made her cry, and she feels like I'm trying to assert dominance over her in her son's home. Our home, actually. My boyfriend is on my side, but now his parents are acting like I've disrespected the Queen of England. Am I the asshole for standing my ground on a very normal rule? Oh my god. I should have included this in the fucking mother in law episodes because genuinely, what? That's so funny because she's like deflecting. Or what is that? Where, right? That's deflecting. She's obviously trying to assert dominance. So she feels like that girl is trying to assert dominance because that's what she's doing. So she's like deflecting or projecting. She's projecting that on to this girl and being like, "You're trying to assert dominance in my son's home." No, girl, you're trying to assert dominance. What is wrong with you? That is a very normal thing. Like when I was growing up, that was so common, all like in every home that I ever lived in most homes that I went to, like over to my friend's house, it was like, "Take your shoes off at the door, please." That is such a common thing. I take my, like, we don't let, it's not that we don't let people, but like there's a little foyer. I never know if it's foyer or foyer. Is it? No, there's no way it's foyer. I don't know, but I'm gonna say foyer. We just have like a little space down there, and then there's stairs. So like it's pretty obvious that you take your shoes off down there. There's a bunch of shoes down there. We take our shoes off. Like usually guests take their shoes off before they come upstairs. It's just like a normal thing. And I feel like that's just like a default thing that I usually do when I go to someone's home. If I don't know, like if I don't know if they want me to take their shoes off or not, I'll do it, or I'll ask like, "Do you want me to take my shoes off?" If it's like, I don't know, if it's a different situation, but usually I just default to just taking my shoes off at the door to be respectful. And I think that's a normal thing. Like I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. I don't think that's like a new thing that she's like, "I can't believe you're acting like she's making you strip tease at the door and like get naked and flash your titties to her. Like, I can't believe you're making me do this. Really? You're trying to assert your dominance by making me flash my titties to you at my own son's house? Like, she's literally telling you to take off your shoes. What's the big deal? Do you have bunions under there?" No hate to the bunion community, but like, what's wrong? Are you, I don't know, what's under there? Because I'm getting nervous at this point. If you're going home and crying to your husband about having to take off your shoes, what are you hiding in those toes of yours? Okay, the top comment. Not the asshole. If your boyfriend is aligned, how's he handling the situation? I'd expect him to call them and shut it down. The dad shouldn't be attacking you, and your boyfriend should be standing up for you. It sounds like he agrees. But what's he doing to solve the issue? OP said he's pretty nonchalant about it. Understands she's overbearing and rude, but annoyingly doesn't share my frustration with her attitude. That's all guys minimize, like all guys never take things as serious as like girls do, I feel like, because stuff gets me so worked up and my boyfriend will be like, "Yeah, that's interesting." And I'm like, "Can you get mad? Like, get mad, please." Like, not really mad, like to the point where you're punching something or throwing something at the wall, but like show some sort of, I don't know, emotion over something. Like, have an opinion, show that you disagree. I don't know. I feel like it's very common in guys though. But like for me, it's I will get like I always have a side. Like either I agree or I don't agree. I'm never just like super, and maybe this is a toxic trait of mine, I don't know. But I'm never like super neutral on something. I'm usually like, "No, I think that this is right," or "No, I think this is wrong." And some might say I'm stubborn. Some might say. Some might say that maybe I think that I'm always right, but deep down I know that I'm not always right, okay? I know that I'm not always right, but I hold my like opinion in the way that I interpret things near and dear to my heart, okay? Because I think I am sometimes a good judge of like if something is right or wrong. I don't know. Does that make sense? Okay. Slay. Someone said, then you need to make it his problem as well. Tell him how upset you are, how disrespected you feel that she can't follow this one simple rule, and that actually, given the dad's words, it seems like her refusing is her attempt to assert dominance of you in your own home, even down to them saying it's her son's home. That's exactly what I said, and I stand 10 toes behind that. Explain to him that you have to put up with enough, you have put up with enough at this point, and either he steps up and shuts it down, or she's not welcome in the house. You'll start handling it and won't be nice. Nip this in the bud unless to you want it to get worse, basically. You said you try to be respectful. Stop that. She doesn't deserve the level of respect you're giving her. Respect is earned and not mutual. And mutual. Exactly. Every accusation is a confession. She's making this a pissing contest. Yeah, because she's 100%. She's like, I can't believe you're asserting dominance after I'm trying to assert dominance. Like, how could you? It's crazy, but goodbye. You're so annoying. Just take your damn shoes off, you little fucking bunion feet. Like, what do you have? Yellow green toes? Are your toenails falling off? I just don't understand why you're so offended about someone wanting you to take your shoes off. Okay. The title of the next story is, Am I the asshole for demanding that my fiance's parents change their plans to have a vacation at the same place as our honeymoon? My fiance and I have our wedding coming up in April. We had brainstormed for a while on where best to spend our honeymoon. We went over the most popular and well known places, but then landed on a more offbeat destination that I felt would be truly a great place for us to start our life as a married couple. I've been looking forward to it just being the two of us. I know he has a really hectic work schedule, and we were going to make the most out of this. A couple of days ago, he told me that his parents had been impressed by how hyped I was about it and were planning on going there for a vacation too, largely overlapping with our dates. They're staying at the same hotel as us. I was livid. They can go any other time. Why now? He said he had suggested that, but his mom said that they had taken time off for the wedding too, and it worked well into their plans. Also, that since we were going to be going back, it'll allow them to maybe see us a few more times before we leave. I was almost in tears. I was so angry. He tried to reassure me, saying that they promised it'll be two separate things and they won't be inserting themselves in our honeymoon. They want us to enjoy it and they'd be doing their own thing. I wanted to believe it, but I know his mom. I like her as a soon to be mother in law, but she can be very clingy and routinely laments how far he and now us are from them. So I just have a feeling the two plans are not going to be as independent as he thinks they'll be. I vented about it to my parents too. My mom agreed with me that this isn't right. My dad is more on the fence about it. He doesn't think everything is ruined. I've demanded my fiance make them change their plans. He says he asked them to. They promised to do their own thing. What can he do? Tell them he doesn't believe them and call them liars? I messed up here and said, if that's what it takes. He got quiet. I realized that was too much and sincerely apologized for crossing the line. This has been eating me up. I was envisioning a certain type of honeymoon, and this is what happened. Am I the asshole? No, period. No, period. Because why would you be the asshole? Why would you be the asshole in this? Yeah, I I would be like the same way. Yeah, if that's what it takes. If that's what it takes. Because why would any parents or anyone for that matter think that it's okay to plan a honeymoon on the same dates in the same place as their family members, friends, anyone, anyone. That's actually ridiculous. I'd be so livid because why are you gonna actually like? You are saying that you're not gonna intrude. Okay, you're intruding already by booking the trip in the first place when you know that we're gonna be there at the same time because obviously we're gonna see you and obviously it's like it's awkward as well because it's like you have to make it a point to not hang out with them. So it's like almost you feel rude. At least that's how I would be. And like, yeah, of course, in the beginning, I'd be so pissed and I'd be like, no, you guys can't go. You guys shouldn't be going. You guys need to cancel your trip. But once they didn't cancel and then they were actually at the hotel with us, like I would feel so awkward not hanging out with them that I feel like we'd just end up hanging out with them because I'd feel bad and I'd feel awkward, even though like I'd be pissed and I'd definitely resent them for it. And of course the dad's on the fence about it. Of course you're on the fence about it. That's how all men are. Men are so neutral on things. It's actually crazy. But there's an update, so we're obviously going to read it. Update, am I the asshole for demanding that my fiance's parents change their plan to have a vacation at the same place as our honeymoon? Hi, thank you for the advice in the original post. I thought over this some more. I was heartened by the response here because I thought that I was the one being over the top about this, but I saw that most people agreed that what they were doing isn't right. I really didn't want to change plans, so I plan to talk to him again, speaking respectfully about his parents but firm, because last time I had gone over the line a bit, which had derailed our conversation. We met yesterday after work. I raised the issue with him again. I said that he knows how much I'd been looking forward to our honeymoon. I only plan on having it once, and his parents being there will ruin it for the both of us. I also said that I didn't want to change anything about it, not the hotel or the destination. It just wasn't fair. He said he doesn't like that they're coming either, but they're giving their word to not interfere. But to me, it's not about believing them, just that the honeymoon I had in mind is going to be ruined with them around. I told them I told him that this wasn't a trivial annoyance for me. This was actually making me unhappy, and I need him to do something about it. He said he'll handle it. Well, first, he told me that knowing his parents, especially his mom, she is going to feel slighted by us. We're going to be living a 3 hour flight away from them, so it's not like we're going to be seeing them too often. But he said he just wanted me to know that that was going to happen. I said I'm fine with that. Probably could have been more tactful, but he found it amusing. He said he'll handle it, so I waited. Last night he told me his parents were canceling their plan. I asked him how it went. He said it went fine. They said it would be two separate plans, but he told them their plan was becoming a problem and asked them to change their plan because it would mean a lot to him. So they did. They hadn't booked the tickets yet, but they're looking into either getting a refund on their hotel reservations or my fiance suggested delaying it to sometime later in the future. I told him I was sorry that he'd been put in this position, but that I was so happy about it. I started tearing up too. This had just been bearing on me so heavily, and I was so glad that it was finally back to the way that I have in mind. Also, I know the stress of the wedding and work has been bearing on him too, and I didn't like adding this stress onto him either. He said it was a very short and simple convo with his parents. I thought there'd be a big argument because he said they hadn't been swayed previously. My parents were also really happy for me. My dad thinks it wouldn't hurt to call my mother in law and just apologize for what happened, not in a I'm sorry way, but more of a I'm sorry this happened way. My mom thinks there's no need. My fiance thinks that it's up to me. I'm really glad I came here and found out I wasn't overreacting, or I wouldn't have had the confidence to ask for my honeymoon back. Thank you. You don't need to apologize. Absolutely not. Apologizing is so unnecessary. And if anything, I feel like that would almost just be like admitting fault when you have no fault in this situation. Like, it's not your fault at all that these people are crazy and think that it's normal to plan a trip the same time and same place as your honeymoon. Like, you are not at fault and you do not need to apologize. And if anything, I feel like that will just let the mom, like, that will just like make the mother in law feel like she has power over you and be like, oh, she apologized. Like, she obviously knows she's in the wrong about this, but no, you're not in the wrong about this at all. And if anything, they should be the ones calling you to apologize and being like, hey, I'm so sorry that we thought this was normal. Obviously, like, it's not. And I'm really sorry that that happened. And I hope that like everything can be okay. But I don't really see that happening because clearly they think that that's normal. So I don't really see them ever admitting that it wasn't a normal thing to do. Like, plan your trip at some other time or at some other place. If you want to go on this trip, if you want to go on a trip at the same time in the same like location, I mean, still weird, but like the same hotel, at least for the love of God, book a different hotel or a different resort or whatever, wherever they're staying. Like, please, come on. It's crazy. Okay. There's an edit. Edit, there won't be any apologies. His parents had asked for pictures from us during our honeymoon. I'm not sending shit. His mom complained about me to my mom, that I'm not making an effort to become a part of the family, how hostile I was, and how I didn't understand the importance of relationships. My mom stood up for me and said I have no duty to anyone except my soon to be husband. I take back whatever I might have said about me generally liking my soon to be mother in law. I'm done. They've canceled their vacation. That's what I wanted. I'm going to smile for the family pictures at the wedding, and once we fly out, I'm done with her. Slay. Slay. Because why is she going to be a bitch? Why is she going to be rude about it? Why are you going to complain? Like, if I should be complaining about you. I hate when people think that they're in the right about a situation that is so clearly wrong that 99% of people would be taking this girl's side over the mother-in-law's side. Like, I hate that. I'm like, please take a national poll. See who's right here, because I hate when it's so obvious that you're in the wrong and you're still like fighting that you're not in the wrong and that it's normal and it's fine. Go, if you really want to see your son that bad, like, see him at a different time. You don't need to see him during his honeymoon while he's on his honeymoon with his wife. Like, that's actually diabolical to me. Okay, let's read some of the comments. Plot twist, your in-laws lied and still go to the same destination. This is Reddit. ... T. Someone said more like... Wait, where'd that go? Someone said more like he lied and didn't talk to them. Mother-in-law will show up for every meal, cry at every slight, which is also like Reddit. OP had better pray for father-in-law's longevity, because once that man is gone, there will be no 3-hour distance between them and OP. OP's dad telling her to apologize is in a way to verify that the fiancé is not bullshitting. Wait, what? I don't really get that part. Not Reddit enough. The fiancé lied, so the in-laws still come, and his excuse will be that he thought it would be fine once they all got there. Ew. I would be pissed. Someone said, absolutely do not apologize to your mother-in-law. Why on earth does your father think you need to? I also think it sounds a bit too easy how they gave up, so I would expect them to see them pop up anyways. I would definitely think about rebooking as much as you don't want to. If they win this round, it will be ongoing forever. Someone said, he didn't say I needed to, but he just said it'll be good manners to smooth it over. These past few days, I was so angry at his parents, I would have straight up said no to my dad, but they have relented now, so I just said I'll see. My mom is adamantly opposed to it, though. If I see them there, despite them saying they're canceling, I promise that will be the last time they ever see me. Yeah, your mom is right. Please listen to your mom. And that's usually the case in most relationships. Like, the mother knows best. What is that from? Mother knows best. Is that from, like, Tangled or something? From when she isn't allowed to be going out of the castle? She's like, and then singing that mother knows best. Like, mother knows that you're not supposed to leave the castle. But it's true, mother knows, except that mother. That mother does not know. That mother was an evil little witch. Okay, we're going to move on to the advice segment of this episode. And if you ever want unprofessional advice from me, the link is in the description below. It's a Google form. Just give me as much detail as possible, and I'll try to help as much as I can unprofessionally, but with so much love and spice. And wait, what is that? What is the Powerpuff Girl? A little spice and everything nice or something? I don't know. But you know what I mean if you watched Powerpuff Girls when you were little or still. Okay. This says, hi, first of all, love your podcast. I'm a longtime listener and I think you're so funny and insightful, and I appreciate all the content and advice you provide for us. It's clear you put a lot of time, passion, and energy into what you do, and I hope you know it doesn't go unnoticed. Okay, that's the nicest thing ever. Thank you so much. I love you. And now getting in to the actual meat of the advice. I'm looking for some advice on knowing when is the right time to move in with your partner. So I guess I'll do this like we're on Reddit. Haha. I, 22, non-binary, am a senior in college, and so is my boyfriend. We're both graduating in May and have been thinking about getting a year-long lease together and sticking around our college town for another year. For some context, we've been officially dating for 11 months, together for over a year, and have very solid relationship. It's safe to say I've never felt this comfortable or secure with anyone. We have the same values, make each other laugh, and communicate well. He loves me the way I'd always hoped for, but truly didn't think existed in real life. That being said, we've definitely been experiencing some bumps in the road lately in terms of conflict. An issue will come up naturally, so we'll argue and get our feelings hurt a little, but we'll never yell or use mean language. We just communicate through the discomfort and resolve things as they come up, though I'd be remiss if I didn't sorry. If I didn't emphasize that no matter how productive we may be communicating, it obviously does not feel good in the moment. Considering we're two young adults trying to figure out how to coexist, this is probably all normal, but it also has been happening more frequently than ever, so I guess I'm just hoping it's natural growing pains. But if it's a bad sign, that'd be good to know too, lol. More additional context, he's from the Northeast and I'm from the Southeast. Our college town is in the Southeast. And he has been saying he only wants to be here for another year max. I personally might be open to moving to the North in a year, maybe, but I'm honestly not sure. He has his school friends and a few job connections down here, and his family and friends connections up there, but my entire life is down here, so I'd be leaving everything behind to move to where he is more comfortable. I love his family, so no issues there. I'm just undecided on if that would be a good call for me in the long run. I'm very close to my friends and family and have a lot of connections down here, But it also seems like my unsureness is worrying him because he doesn't want to get stuck down here. Obviously, worst case would be just doing long distance, which we've successfully done for a few months already, but it really does suck, so that's not ideal. With all that out of the way, I'm wondering how to recognize if moving in together would be a good idea. Is it too early? Are we too young and not giving our relationship a fighting chance by moving in together this soon? Are his feelings about being in the Southeast for only another year too big of a hurdle to compromise on when the time comes a year from now? I know I'm young, and so I'm not worried about the sunken cost fallacy or anything should things not work out between us, but I see a future with him and don't want to rush into something if the timing would be dooming us. How can I be sure I'm making the right decision moving forward? What made you know you were ready to move in with Jack when the time came? Was it a feeling or timing or something else? I'm sorry this was so long. Hopefully, I gave enough context and I didn't forget anything. If any part was confusing, I'd be happy to write in again. Thanks so much, Jamie. I hope you have a great day. Oh, I hope you have a great day. Okay. So I feel like obviously there's no right answer for this. It's very subjective and differs within every relationship and every person and what each person is comfortable with. Me personally, before I moved in with Jack, I was more like on the side of like, I feel like if you move in too early, that's going to like mess up the relationship and all of that. But once we moved in, I realized that actually I feel like it's better. And I'm not saying like move in immediately as soon as you start dating someone. Like, I think a year of dating someone is good to know, like, if you want to live with them. And obviously, just knowing that, like, it's okay to end up not, that ends up not working out. It's not like you guys are like permanently tied together and you guys bought a house and got married or anything. So it's like definitely keeping that in mind. But obviously, it is a big commitment. And I did think of it as like a very big commitment. Like, if we do move in together, this means that we're like taking a next step in continuing like the rest of our lives together, because I don't want to just like move in just to move in for fun or just because it's going to be cheaper and just because we're going to be like splitting stuff, like I wanted both of us to be on the same page about the fact that like we're moving in because we love each other, we want to live together, and not because like it's an easy route and it's like helpful because of budget and stuff, like obviously you want it to be something meaningful and not just because like you get to split rent and it's going to be cheaper, because that's just like a terrible reason to move in with each other. So that's like that's the first conversation. I wasn't even the one, like I honestly thought we weren't going to be moving in with each other for a while, but then Jack was like, obviously we're moving in, and I was like, oh, okay, are we? I don't know, but it was like a while. It would be like a year from then. It was like a year before we moved in together that he said that, and he was still in school and stuff, but he was very like, yeah, obviously we're going to move in together. And then I was like, wait, are we? And then like I was like, I don't think so. And then I like thought about it a little more, and then I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, let's move in together once you move out of your college town and come back, because we were long distance as well. And so I had that conversation with him, and then when he moved back, he lived with me for a couple months before, because my lease wasn't up yet. And that was like a great time because we had like 2 or 3 months of my lease. So he kind of just like moved in with me. And after he graduated school and stuff, and then he had time to look for a job, and then we had time to also look for places together and look for apartments. So it was like a great little transitioning time. And that was like great. And then I think things were like really good between us, but then I think like as time came closer to us moving in, I wouldn't say that we were like going through a rough patch or anything, but we were kind of getting on each other's nerves a little bit more. But I think it was just like, I don't really know why it was, honestly. My mom was staying with us at the time, so I think that like added a little bit extra, because a lot was going on at that time. Like, I was working a full-time job while we were trying to find a place, move in with my mom there, and like just there was like so much going on. So I think we were just like both very like overwhelmed with everything, and we kind of like took our frustrations out on each other, not like terribly or toxically or anything like that, but it was definitely a little bit of a stressful time for us, and we recognized that, though. We were like, we're just like, once we settle in and like we get time alone and get to like stop being overwhelmed, everything will be fine. And we knew that. And it was. But I feel like now that me and Jack moved in with each other, sorry, this is so long winded, but I feel like now that me and Jack moved in with each other, I like changed my perspective on moving in with a partner so much. I was like, honestly, I feel like it's better to move in sooner than later. Like, I feel like it's better to move in with someone after the first year of dating rather than after like 5 years or 8 years of dating, because I truly think that like moving in together is a very is big like testament to your relationship, and it kind of shows you like if you guys can coexist together, and that's like kind of a make it or break it. And I felt like obviously I wasn't moving in with him just to like see if we're make it or like, if we're end game or anything, or if we're gonna like get so annoyed with each other and break up. But I do think that living together puts like a lot of tests out, and it shows you, because obviously you're going to be with that person forever if you decide to be with that person forever. So like you might as well figure out if you can coexist with them forever now rather than later, because why would you want to wait like another 5 years and then you're 5 years into the relationship, you move in together and you realize, oh, we really can't coexist together. I actually hate you and hate living with you. I feel like that would be much more beneficial to figure out early on. And I feel like there's like a sweet spot for that. I don't think it should be too soon, but I like it shouldn't be like 6 months into your relationship, but I think like being together for a year is like a good sweet spot, a year or two. And yeah, so I feel like it's more about feelings and making sure that you guys are on the same page of why you're moving in with each other and that you guys both want to move in with each other. And I think, again, it's a great testament, and it's a great like time to test if you guys will be able to coexist for the rest of your lives, if that's what you end up deciding to do, is be together forever. But the next hurdle obviously is the fact that he wants to move away and you are not sure, because that's probably the biggest thing. And I think that's probably the biggest problem that you'll face, is because obviously if you're not like open to moving yourself in like independently, individually, with no, you know, pressure coming from anyone else, then you shouldn't move, because you don't ever want to move for someone or because you feel like you have to move with this person. And same with him, like he shouldn't have to stay for you either, because if he wants to move, then that's not healthy either. So I feel like that's kind of where the problem lies, because you'll want to be on the same page with that, because otherwise if you move, or if he stays for you or you move for him, that's going to create like more of a resentment. So I think you have to like really think about it. Would you be okay moving individually separate from him, the pressure of the relationship being long distance or ending or whatever? So I think that's definitely something to think about. And I think that's more of like a you thing. That's more of like, I can't tell you, you should just move, because that's a complete individual, independent thing that you have to decide on your own. But I would just think about that for a little bit. And I think in the meantime, for your guys' relationship, and like you guys will be there for the next year, I don't think it would hurt to like move in together and figure out. Because what if, I mean, I'm not saying that this is going to happen at all, and I'm not trying to like doom your relationship, because obviously like I want the best for you and you obviously want to be with this person. But what if you did move in together and then you realize like, oh, I actually don't like this person anymore and I don't want to, and you that sounds stupid, but like honestly, when you do move in together, a lot of like, you don't think that a lot of things are going to change, but a lot of things do change, and a lot of things do come up that that you guys have to work through together. And yeah, so what if you realize like you hate him, or what if you realize like you love him, and then in like 6 months you're like, you know what, I would love to get out of this town and I would love to move somewhere else. So that's something that you should definitely keep in the back of your mind, is just like thinking about if you would really want to move, regardless of what he wants. So yeah, because I never think that you should make a decision based on someone else, and that's just going to make your relationship worse. So I hope that helped in some way or another. I know that that was so long winded, but I hope that it helped a little bit. I feel like I maybe missed a couple points, but I think for the most part, I said everything that I wanted to say. But yeah, let me know what you decide or what you end up thinking. I would love to hear what you guys end up doing with your lives, and some updates if you guys decide to move in together. But thank you so much for submitting that, and I really appreciate it. I love you, and I hope you have the best day. But anyways, that's going to be the end of this episode, actually. So we are going to close out, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Please let me know what you thought about the stories. Let me know all of your opinions and deepest, darkest thoughts in the comments, please, because I love to hear it, and I love you guys. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, or whatever you are experiencing at this time. Okay? I love you. Bye. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.